Daughtry is an American rock band formed and fronted by namesake Chris Daughtry, who was a finalist on the 5th season of American Idol. Their self-titled debut album was released in November 2006. The album reached number 1 on the Billboard 200, went on to sell more than 4 million copies in the United States, and has been certified quadruple platinum by the RIAA. Daughtry was also named the best-selling album of 2007 by Billboard, becoming the fastest-selling debut rock album in SoundScan history. The album produced 4 top 20 hits on the Billboard Hot 100, including top 5 hits It's Not Over, and Home. The band's second album, Leave This Town, was released in July 2009. It debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200 chart, becoming Daughtry's second number 1 album in the United States. To date, Leave This Town has sold over 1.3 million copies in the United States and has been certified platinum by the RIAA. The album's lead single, No Surprise, became the band's 5th top 20 hit on the Hot 100. Their third studio album, Break the Spell, was released in November 2011. It debuted inside the top 10 on the Billboard 200 chart and has been certified gold by the RIAA. To date, Daughtry has sold over 8 million albums and over 22.6 million digital tracks in the United States, and 23.8 million albums and 60.3 million digital downloads worldwide. History: 2005 08, Daughtry and breakthrough success, American Idol Euro Season 5 fourth-place finisher Chris Daughtry stated that he would form a new band after turning down Fuel's offer to make him their lead singer. On July 10, 2006 it was announced that Chris Daughtry had signed with 19 Entertainment and RCA Records, which holds contracts with fellow American Idol finalists Kelly Clarkson and Kelly Pickler, among others. Chris Daughtry is a singer-songwriter himself and has collaborated with several other songwriters, such as Liv's Ed Kowalczyk, Fuel's Carl Bell, Three Doors Down's Brad Arnold, Matchbox 20's Rob Thomas, Senior 71's Mitch Allen, Shinedown's Brent Smith, 3 Days Grace's Adam Gontier, former The Click 5 singer Eric Dill, Theory of a Dead Man's Tyler Connolly, Lifehouse's Jason Wade and Nickelback's Chad Kroeger. Chris Daughtry and members of his label held auditions for the band Daughtry. He and the label chose 4 members for the band: Jeremy Brady, 21, guitarist; Josh Steele, 36, lead guitarist; Josh Paul, 29, bassist who played for Suicidal Tendencies; Joey Barnes, 30, drummer. 2 of the band members hail from North Carolina: Barnes, whom Chris Daughtry had known for some time, and Brady, who was introduced to him a month before the audition. Steele and Paul are both from California. The decision was made to name the band Daughtry in order to keep name recognition. In an interview, Chris Daughtry said, "We could have come out with a really obscure name, but coming from a TV show and having name recognition, it was easier just to go with my last name." The band's self-titled debut album was produced by Howard Benson and was released by RCA Records on November 21, 2006. Chris Daughtry himself played a part in the production of the album, particularly in songwriting, where he wrote and co-wrote all but 2 songs on the album: Feels Like Tonight, and What About Now. Other notable songwriters Dr. Luke and Max Martin contributed to the album, and session drummer Josh Freese played on all tracks. However, at the time the album was recorded, Chris Daughtry was the only official member of the band, leading some to mistakenly believe that the band Daughtry is his solo career. Daughtry was an instant success and spawned several hits for the group, starting with its first single It's Not Over, which debuted on the radio on December 6, 2006, after being delayed from a planned September release, and reaching number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100 and hitting the top 3 in several other charts. Shortly thereafter, Jeremy Brady announced his departure from Daughtry and was replaced with Brian Craddock, 31, from Virginia. In interviews, Chris Daughtry and Craddock have discussed having known each other when Chris Daughtry was still a member of Absent Element. After the success of It's Not Over, the second single from the album, Home, was released and peaked at number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100, after debuting at number 83, weeks ahead of its official release to radio. The song was also the official kickoff song on 6th season of American Idol, played after a contestant was voted off the show, also the case during Season 5 of Australian Idol. The Brazilian version of Idol, called Idolos Brazil, used this song as well in its second season. The album's third single, What I Want, was released to rock radio on April 23, 2007, featuring musician Slash on lead guitars. The single has peaked at number 6 on the rock charts and is featured as a playable song on Guitar Hero, on tour for the Nintendo DS. The band's fourth single Over You was released July 24, 2007. The band performed this single live on Good Morning America on June 1, 2007. Crashed, the album's fifth single, was released to rock stations on September 10, 2007, where it was also used in a commercial for Lego Bionicle. The song was also performed on the pre-race show on ABC for the NASCAR Nextel Cup Chevy Rock and Roll 400. The album's sixth single, Feels Like Tonight, was released on January 8, 2008, just over a year after the album's release. The video debuted in January and a song was used for the 2007 WWE tribute to the troops. Their song There and Back Again was also the official theme song for WWE Backlash in 2007. Due to the success of the singles, Daughtry was certified 4X Platinum on April 24, 2008. The group is on page 8 on MySpace.com of the most played artists, with over 29 million plays. In addition, the group has appeared on the famous compilation album series Now That's What I Call Music 5 times, with their songs It's Not Over, Home, Over You, Feels Like Tonight, and What About Now. The band was also nominated for 4 Grammy Awards in 2008, for Best Pop Performance by a Duo or Group with Vocal, Best Rock Album, Best Rock Song and Best Rock Performance by a Duo or Group with Vocal. According to Billboard.com, Daughtry has had 20 number 1 hits around the world. A deluxe edition of Daughtry's self-titled album was released on September 9. Along with the original CD, this expanded CD-DVD package features 4 bonus tracks, including acoustic versions of What About Now, It's Not Over, and Home, plus a cover of Foreigner's Feels Like the First Time. The DVD contains all 5 of Daughtry's music videos, 2 rarely seen live clips, and exclusive behind-the-scenes tour footage. A shortened version of their massive hit single Home was used at the end of the English League Cup final in February 2008 when the compilation of Tottenham Hotspur victory over Chelsea was shown at the end of the Sky coverage. 2009 A Euro 10, Leave This Town. On March 9, 2009, Chris Daughtry announced on their website that he and the band had finished the album's recording. The second record was released on July 14, 2009 with 14 songs making the cut from the 19 recorded songs. Chris said that the record is a very big rock album. He has also stated that the band had written and recorded over 30 new songs. He worked with Chad Kroeger from Nickelback, Ryan Tedder from One Republic, Trevor McNiven from Thousand Foot Krutch, Jason Wade from Lifehouse, Richard Marx, Scott Stevens from The X's, Adam Gontier from 3 Days Grace and Eric Dill, former vocalist for the Click 5. The album's first single, No Surprise, was released on May 5, 2009 through their website. It officially went for radio play on May 26. Daughtry appeared on American Idol on May 6, 2009 performing No Surprise. The new album was released on July 14, 2009, and its title is Leave This Town. Life After You was the follow-up single to No Surprise. Leave This Town debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200 selling 269,000 copies in its first week. The record was also number 1 on the digital albums chart and the rock chart. After Leave This Town was released, Daughtry became the first American Idol artist to have 2 consecutive number 1 albums. Carrie Underwood later achieved this victory when her albums Carnival Ride and Play On went number 1. Daughtry performed on stage at the American Music Awards on November 22, 2009, and sang their hit single Life After You. On November 10, 2009, USA Today revealed that Daughtry band members Chris Daughtry and Brian Craddock co-wrote Don't Wanna Be Wrong, an iTunes deluxe bonus track on Alison Arrieta's debut album. Just Like You. On March 16, 2010, the band released a B-side of the single from the album, Leave This Town, with 5 songs that were with a pre-order only, or never came out with the album. On April 16, 2010, the band announced on its website that drummer Joey Barnes and the band had parted ways. Robin Diaz was tapped to replace him for the band's ongoing tour. September was the 3rd single from Leave This Town, and it peaked at number 2 on HAC radio charts, number 18 on pop radio charts, and number 36 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. The band has also released an extended play titled Leave This Town, the B-Sides, which contains the bonus tracks from Leave This Town, 2011 Euro 12, Break the Spell. The band's third album, Break the Spell, was released on November 21, 2011. They have a song Drownin' You in the new album Batman, Arkham City, the album for the game. Break the Spell debuted at number 8 on the Billboard Top 200 on November 28, 2011, with 129,000 copies sold. As of January 2012, the album has sold 407,000 copies in the United States. On January 26, Crawling Back to You debuted at number 24 on the Japan Hot 100. Renegade, Crawling Back to You, and Out of My Head are the 3 singles released from the album. The 4th single, Start of Something Good, was released on September 4, 2012. Daughtry commemorated Memorial Day with a performance of Home on the West Lawn of the U.S. Capitol in Washington, D.C. At PBS National Memorial Day concert on May 27, 2012. On May 28, Chris Daughtry announced on his Twitter that the band was back in the studio, and on May 29, he said that they were back in the studio, and cannot reveal what they are doing, but it is exciting. They were recording an acoustic version of Rescue Me for DC Comics' efforts in Africa. The proceeds of the acoustic version will go to the efforts in Africa. On September 24, 2012, the band released a statement on its website that Josh Paul had decided to leave the band. Paul said, "The time has come for me to bow out and let the band continue on without me. This has been a very difficult decision, as these are not only my bandmates, but my brothers." 2013 A Euro present, Baptized, Daughtry announced through TweetVid that the band was working on a 4th album. During Daughtry's 2 days of writing for the album, they worked with Matt Thiessen, wrote with Blair Daly and Espionage. On March 27, 2013, Daughtry tweeted that they had been working with Martin Johnson of Boys Like Girls and Rock Mafia. On May 6, Daughtry worked with Scott Stevens. On May 7, worked with Ali Tamposi. On May 8, worked with Tamposi and the Monsters and the Strangerts. On May 14, Daughtry tweeted that he was back in the studio with Martin Johnson and Sam Hollander. The following day, Daughtry tweeted that he was cutting vocals for the album. On May 17, Chris Daughtry tweeted that Josh Paul had rejoined the band. On May 22, 2013, Chris Daughtry played a new song that he wrote for the new album titled Broken Arrows. Chris said that they hope to have the first single out by the end of the year and the entire record out by February 2014. On August 19, 2013, Chris announced that the album will be released sometime in 2013, saying that the album will be out sooner than they thought. On August 23, Chris said that he had the new album title and that the fans will hear the new single very soon, along with more details to come. On September 4, Daughtry posted a segment of their new single cover, and on September 5, Daughtry posted new lyrics She's Talking to Angels, Counting the Stars. Also on September 7, Daughtry posted more of their single cover, showing the opposite side of the image. On September 8, Chris tweeted more lyrics She's Just Watching the Clouds Roll By and They Spell Her Name. On September 11, 2013, Daughtry announced that there would be a contest to reveal their new single. Unfortunately, on September 12, it was leaked by someone from RCA Records that the new single is titled Waiting for Superman, which was released on September 17. That same day, it was announced on the band's website that their 4th album called Baptized will be available November 19, 2013. On October 21, Chris announced that if fans pre-ordered Baptized from iTunes, they would instantly get the band's new single Long Live Rock and Roll. the band performed on the 2013 Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve with Ryan Seacrest. On May 21, 2014, Daughtry made an official announcement on their website that Daughtry and Robin Diaz parted ways due to scheduling conflicts. Band name: Daughtry is often mistakenly believed to be a Chris Daughtry solo project. However, in a manner similar to Van Halen, Bon Jovi, Dokken, and Dio, Daughtry is a band, taking Chris Daughtry's surname as their moniker. In an interview, he explained, "We could have come out with a really obscure name, but coming from the TV show and having name recognition, it was easier just to go with my last name." He also joked, "Steel Dragon would have been great. Rainbow Bud Monkeys would have also been great, but that was taken." Tours: the band has been touring non-stop since January 2007. They have performed across the US and Canada, along with shows in the UK, Germany, and Singapore. They opened for Nickelback for a brief stint, Puddle of Mud, and Finger 11, and have featured 12 Stones, Cinder Road, Small Town Sleeper, Day of Fire and Eve to Adam as opening acts. On May 27, 2007, the band performed during the Indianapolis 500 pre-race show on ABC, and headlined the 2007 Summerfest at the Marcus Amphitheater in Milwaukee, Wisconsin with a crowd of more than 15,000 on July 6. Daughtry has played shows in Australia, as well as the United Kingdom and across Europe for the first time, and opened for Bon Jovi for several shows in November. They were featured as the opening act during Bon Jovi's Lost Highway tour. The band began a sold-out tour with Bon Jovi on February 18, 2008 all the way through the end of April. Chris Daughtry joined Bon Jovi on stage many nights to perform their song, Blaze of Glory. Daughtry joined forces with the One campaign at 2008's Democratic National Convention and Republican National Convention to raise awareness about world poverty. The band refused to back a presidential candidate during their interviews. On Thanksgiving 2009, Daughtry performed the halftime show for the Dallas Cowboys vs. Oakland Raiders football game to kick off the Salvation Army Red Kettle campaign. Daughtry joined Nickelback on the second leg of their European tour from January 1 to February 5, 2010. Daughtry's second leg of the Leave This Town tour started on March 18, 2010 in Baltimore and continued through June. Daughtry played 2 dates in October 2010 in South Africa, one at the Grand Arena in Cape Town and one at the Coca-Cola Dome in Johannesburg. Daughtry played for the Singapore Formula One concert at the Padang in September 2010. It is the third visit to Singapore for Daughtry. In October 2010, Daughtry toured Europe with shows in Germany and the United Kingdom. From March 20 to August 18, 2012, Daughtry went on their second headlining tour, the Break the Spell tour, across North America with openers Zafi DeSuit and Mike Sanchez. The tour supported their third studio album Break the Spell. The band played at small theaters and one arena. On October 8, 2012, Daughtry and Three Doors Down announced that they will be co-headlining a 19-day tour in the United States from November 17 to December 15, 2012. On December 10, 2012 more dates were added, extending the tour to February 26, 2013. On October 12, 2012, Daughtry toured Europe with shows in Russia. On March 10, 2014, it was announced that Daughtry will be going on a co-headlining summer tour with the Goo Goo Dolls. 2009 a Euro 10, Leave This Town Tour, 2012, Break the Spell Tour, 2012 a Euro 13, Bigger Than Life Tour, 2014, Baptized World Tour, 2014, Daughtry Goo Goo Dolls Summer Tour, Members, Timeline. Discography. Daughtry, Leave This Town, Break the Spell, Baptized, Awards and Nominations, External links, Official website, Daughtry at Billboard.com, References